I find the letter propped against the brass candlestick she bought last Christmas, the one she said would make our living room feel more sophisticated. The envelope has my name written in her careful cursive, the kind she saves for thank you notes and sympathy cards. Professional, distant. I drop my laptop bag by the door and stare at it for a moment. The house feels wrong. Too quiet. Madison's car isn't in the driveway, but that's not unusual. She's been working late more often lately. Team building, she called it. Networking events. I believed her because believing was easier than asking questions I didn't want answered. The envelope is thick, expensive paper. I recognize it from the stationery set her sister gave her for her birthday. I tear it open and unfold 2 pages of her careful handwriting. Evan, I need time to figure things out. I know this is sudden, but I've booked myself on that Mediterranean cruise, the one you bought for our anniversary. I need to clear my head and find myself again. I feel like I've been suffocating in our routine, and I need space to breathe. I don't want to hurt you, but I can't keep pretending everything is fine. We've been living like roommates for months. You know it's true. I need to discover who I am outside of this marriage, outside of this life we've built that feels more like a prison than a partnership. I'll be gone for 2 weeks. When I come back, we can talk about what comes next. Please don't try to contact me. I need this time completely to myself. I'm sorry. Madison. I read it twice. The words don't change. The meaning doesn't soften. She took our anniversary cruise, the one I'd been looking forward to for 3 months, the one she said she was too busy to take with me. I'd been planning to propose again, not because we weren't married, but because I wanted to remind her why we chose each other in the first place. I had the ring in my sock drawer, waiting. I fold the letter and set it on the coffee table. My hands are steady. That surprises me. The house feels different now that I know she's gone. The silence has weight. I walk through our bedroom, past her empty dresser drawers, into the bathroom where her toothbrush is missing from the holder. She packed methodically. Took her good jewelry, her favorite clothes, her makeup bag. This wasn't impulsive. This was planned. I pour myself a beer and sit at the kitchen island, staring at the letter. 2 weeks. She needs 2 weeks to find herself. I wonder how long it takes to find someone else. That's when I remember her laptop. Madison always forgets to log out of things. Email, social media, cloud storage. She trusts me, she says. Or she doesn't think I'm smart enough to be suspicious. Both options feel insulting now. Her MacBook is charging on the counter, just where she always leaves it. I flip it open and the screen comes to life. She's logged into everything: Gmail, Facebook, Instagram, even her work Slack. I've never snooped before, never had a reason, never wanted one. I click on her photo folder first. Nothing unusual. Selfies, vacation pictures, screenshots of recipes she'll never make. Then I notice a folder labeled Backup Phone Storage. It's dated last week. I click it open. The first video file is titled br_feb14.mp4. Valentine's Day. I remember that night. Madison said she had a headache. We ordered Chinese food and watched Netflix. She fell asleep on the couch. I carried her to bed and slept alone. My finger hovers over the play button. Part of me knows I shouldn't. Part of me knows I have to. I click. The video opens to our bedroom. Our bed. Madison is there, but she's not alone. The man with her is Brad Callahan from her office, the one she's mentioned in passing, the one who always seems to show up in her work stories. He's recording with his phone, grinning at the camera like he's proud of what he's documenting. I watch for 30 seconds before I close the laptop. I don't throw it. I don't scream. I don't call her. I finish my beer, carry the letter to the kitchen sink, and drop it in. Then I pull a fresh notebook from the junk drawer and write "Exit Strategy" on the first page in block letters. Underneath, I write the date and time. Then I add, Madison and Brad Callahan. Video evidence obtained. Mediterranean cruise booked with marital assets without consent. I pause, pen hovering over the paper. She thinks I'm predictable. Safe. Boring, probably. She's about to learn the difference between predictable and patient, between safe and prepared. I turn to the second page and write, Research phase. Begin immediately. I take the week off work. Tell my manager I'm dealing with a family emergency. It's not a lie. It's just not the emergency he's imagining. I start with the bank accounts. Madison handles the bills, but I have access to everything. Online banking, credit cards, investment accounts. I've never needed to look before because I trusted her to manage our finances. That trust becomes my advantage now. The paper trail tells the story her letter didn't. Hotel charges at the Fairmont downtown, restaurants I've never been to, a jewelry store purchase for $800 3 weeks ago. Definitely not for me. The cruise payment was made with our joint credit card 2 months ago, but she bought 2 tickets. The second passenger is listed as Brad Callahan. 2 months. She's been planning this for 2 months. I screenshot everything and save it to an encrypted folder on my personal laptop. Dates, amounts, locations, a digital timeline of her deception. Next, I check our shared cloud storage. Madison backs up her phone automatically, and she's never changed the settings. Every text message, every photo, every email is sitting in our family iCloud account. Waiting. The messages between Madison and Brad go back 6 months. They start professional, work projects, meeting schedules. Then they shift. Casual dinners, late-night drinks, weekend coffee meetings that aren't on her calendar. By December, the messages get personal. Brad texted, "Your husband seems like a nice guy, but does he really appreciate what he has?" Madison replied, "He's predictable, safe. Sometimes I feel invisible." Brad responded, "You're the most visible woman in any room. Maybe he's just not looking hard enough." Madison answered, "Or maybe he doesn't want to see." I read through 3 months of their courtship. Madison never mentions my name directly, but I'm always there in the subtext. He doesn't understand her. He doesn't make her feel special. He wouldn't notice if she disappeared for a weekend. She's wrong about that last part. The messages from Valentine's Day make me close the laptop for 10 minutes. Madison texted, "He gave me flowers and made dinner reservations. Same restaurant as last year." Brad replied, "And you want something different?" Madison responds with, "I want to feel dangerous again." "When was the last time someone made you feel dangerous?" Brad answered, "Come over. I'll show you dangerous." Madison texted, "My husband thinks I'm at book club." Brad replied, "Then maybe your husband doesn't know you as well as he thinks." When I open the laptop again, I save everything. Every message, every photo, every casual betrayal documented in 12-point font. They're not just cheating, they're mocking me, building their relationship on the foundation of my supposed inadequacy. The work group chat is worse. Madison's colleagues know. They've been covering for her, making jokes about her lunch meetings and her overtime projects. She's become the office entertainment, the married woman having an affair with the charming sales director. They place bets on when I'll figure it out. Someone even starts a pool on whether she'll leave me. The winner gets $200. I find a recorded call on our smart home system from last week. Madison talking to her sister while I was at work. Madison's voice. "He's a good man, but good doesn't make you feel alive. Brad makes me feel like I'm 25 again, like I matter." Her sister's response, "You matter to Evan." Madison's answer, "Do I?" He comes home, we eat dinner, watch TV, go to bed, rinse and repeat. I'm part of his routine, not his passion. Sister's voice. "So you're going to blow up your marriage for a guy from work?" Madison's reply, "I'm going to remind myself who I am before I married someone who makes me feel like furniture." I add the audio file to my evidence folder and start a new page in the notebook. This one is titled Damage Assessment. Our joint accounts have $47,000. Our house is worth $380,000 with $190,000 left on the mortgage. My 401k has $210,000. Madison's has $85,000. We have 2 cars, both paid off. A decent life insurance policy. Wedding rings that cost more than my first car. Everything we built together, everything I thought we were protecting together, all of it is about to become evidence in a war I didn't know I was fighting. But I'm learning fast. I call a locksmith and have them change all the door codes while Madison is floating around the Mediterranean. I tell them my wife lost her keys. They don't ask questions. Then I drive to Brad's neighborhood. He lives in a gated community 15 minutes from our house. The kind of place with a gym and a pool and neighbors who mind their own business. His condo is on the 3rd floor, corner unit. Nice view. I sit in my car across the street and watch for an hour. No movement. His Mercedes isn't in the parking lot. On a whim, I check his social media. Brad isn't as careful as Madison. His Instagram shows him on a beach in Barcelona yesterday, arm around a blonde woman in a white sundress. I recognize the dress. I bought it for Madison last summer. He's documenting their affair in real time, posting pictures of my wife in gifts I gave her while they travel on money I helped earn. The audacity is almost impressive. I screenshot everything and add it to my folder. Then I start researching Brad's life. He's been married to Tina Wallace for 8 years. No kids. She's a paralegal at a family law firm downtown. According to her LinkedIn, she specializes in divorce proceedings and asset protection. Ironic. I wonder if she knows her husband is in Europe with my wife. By the end of the week, my notebook has 47 pages of documentation. Bank statements, text messages, photos, recorded calls, social media evidence, a complete timeline of Madison's exit strategy. Now I need to build my own. Tina Wallace lives in a brick colonial in a neighborhood that tries too hard to be charming. Her lawn is perfectly maintained, her flower beds are geometric, and her doormat says "Welcome" in script font that doesn't mean it. I ring the bell at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. Late enough that she's home from work, early enough that she's not expecting company. Through the window, I see her check the peephole before opening the door. She's shorter than I expected, with dark hair pulled back in a bun and the kind of tired eyes that come from paying attention to details other people miss. "Can I help you?" she asked. I'm holding a manila folder thick enough to be important. "My name is Evan Hartley. I think we need to talk about our spouses." Her expression doesn't change, but I see her fingers tighten on the doorframe. "I don't know what you mean." Madison Hartley and Brad Callahan. They're in Spain right now, probably Barcelona based on the Instagram posts. They're using my anniversary cruise tickets and his credit cards. Tina stares at me for a long moment. Then she steps back and opens the door wider. "Come in." Her living room is clean and careful. Coordinated furniture, organized shelves, everything in its designated place. The kind of home that magazines photograph. The kind of home that hides secrets well. "Would you like coffee?" she asks. "Please," I replied. She disappears into the kitchen, and I hear the mechanical sounds of a coffee maker starting up. When she returns, she's carrying 2 mugs and moving like someone who's decided something while I wasn't watching. "Show me," she says. I open the folder and spread the contents on her coffee table. Screenshots of text messages, bank statements showing hotel charges and restaurant bills, photos from Brad's Instagram account, him and Madison on beaches, in restaurants, looking at each other like they invented romance. Tina picks up each piece of evidence and studies it like she's reviewing a legal brief. Her face stays neutral, but I watch her breathing change. Deeper, more controlled. "How long have you known?" she asks. "A week." "You?" I asked. "I suspected for 3 months. Found hotel receipts in his suit pocket. He said they were for client meetings." She sets down a photo of Madison wearing a necklace I've never seen before. "When did they leave?" "Monday. They'll be back next Sunday, I replied. Tina nods and sips her coffee. Brad maxed out 2 credit cards last month. Said he was investing in a business opportunity. I was wondering what kind of business required jewelry and lingerie. We sit in silence for a moment, both staring at the evidence spread between us. 2 strangers connected by betrayal, calculating damage like insurance adjusters. What do you want to do about it? She asks. I want them to come home to nothing. Define nothing, she answered. I like that she asks for specifics. I want the house sold, the accounts drained, and their reputations destroyed. I want them to understand that actions have consequences and that underestimating quiet people is a mistake. Tina sets down her coffee mug and looks at me directly for the first time since I walked in. I'm a paralegal. I know how to move assets, cancel accounts, and document financial malfeasance. I also know how to do it legally. What do you want in return? I asked. Brad's been hiding money for months, moving it to accounts I don't have access to. I want it back, all of it. And I want him to remember that I'm not someone you can lie to. I pull out my notebook and open to a fresh page. What do you need from me? Power of attorney documents, bank statements, proof that Madison has been using marital assets for the affair. I can use that to justify emergency asset protection measures. Emergency asset protection? I asked. Legal term. When one spouse is wasting marital assets on an affair, the other spouse can petition to freeze accounts and prevent further dissipation of funds. It's designed to protect victims of financial infidelity. I write that down. What can you access from Brad's side? Everything. Joint accounts, credit cards, investment portfolios. He never changed the passwords because he never thought I'd need to use them. She pauses. Or maybe he never thought I'd have a reason to. Wrong on both counts, I smirked. I tear out a page from my notebook and start making a list. Madison has access to our joint checking, savings, and credit cards. She doesn't know about my personal investment account or the emergency fund in my name only. How much are we talking about? She asked. Total? Maybe $400,000 in accessible assets. Another $200 in retirement accounts she can't touch. Tina nods approvingly. Brad has access to roughly $300,000 plus his company stock options. He also has corporate credit cards with significant limits. What if we use those corporate cards? For what? She asked. Research trips, hotels in cities where Brad has mysteriously been taking business trips, expensive dinners, maybe some jewelry to replace what he bought from my wife. For the first time since I walked in, Tina smiles. It's not a happy expression. That's financial infidelity. It's grounds for immediate account freezing and emergency divorce proceedings. Is it illegal? I asked. Not if the spouse has legitimate access to the accounts. Brad gave me his corporate card for emergencies. I'd say this qualifies. I flip to a new page in my notebook and write Tina's tools at the top. Underneath, I add legal expertise, account access, corporate credit cards, paralegal resources. When do we start? I ask. They'll be back Sunday. Today is Tuesday. That gives us 5 days to dismantle everything they think they're coming home to. Can we do it in 5 days? I asked. Tina gathers the photos from the coffee table and taps them into a neat stack. I've been planning for this conversation since I found those hotel receipts 3 months ago. I just needed someone with the evidence and the motivation to help me execute it. You've been planning? I asked. I'm a paralegal specializing in divorce law. Planning for the worst-case scenario is what I do. She stands up and walks to a filing cabinet in the corner of the room. When she returns, she's carrying a folder twice as thick as mine. I've been documenting Brad's financial behavior, his travel patterns, and his suspicious purchases for 12 weeks. I have bank statements, credit card records, and photographs of every piece of evidence. She opens her folder and shows me spreadsheets, printed emails, and phone records organized by date and category. It's comprehensive, professional, terrifying. The question isn't whether we can do this in 5 days, she says. The question is how much damage we want to do while we're doing it. I look at the evidence covering her coffee table. Proof of our spouse's betrayal organized like a legal case file. Then I look at Tina, who's been preparing for this moment while I was still buying anniversary gifts. All of it, I say. I want to do all the damage we can do. Good. She pulls out a legal pad and starts writing. Because I've been waiting 3 months for someone to ask me that question. Thursday morning, I meet Tina at a Starbucks near the courthouse. She's carrying a briefcase and wearing the kind of suit that means business. I'm in jeans and a polo shirt, looking like a suburban dad having a casual coffee meeting. We're both exactly what we appear to be, which makes us dangerous. Status report, she says, settling into the corner booth I've saved. I slide a folder across the table. House listing goes live tomorrow morning. Realtor says it'll sell fast in this market, probably within 2 weeks. I've moved all the furniture to a storage unit and hired a cleaning crew. Madison doesn't know? She asked. Madison doesn't know I can list the house without her signature. Power of attorney covers emergency asset protection when one spouse is using marital funds for infidelity. I've been practicing that phrase. What about your side? Tina opens her briefcase and pulls out a stack of bank statements. Brad's checking account is down to $12.53. His savings account is empty. I transferred everything to a secured account that requires both signatures to access. How much? I asked. $47,000 from checking, another $31,000 from savings. I also liquidated his Vanguard account and his company stock options. Total recovery, $94,000. I whistle low. He's going to notice. He's going to panic. She slides a credit card statement across the table. I've also been very busy with his corporate American Express. 4 nights at the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago, spa treatments, room service. I had a lovely time. You went to Chicago? I asked. I went to Spain, she answered. That stops me. What? Madrid, Bilbao, Barcelona, a whirlwind tour of the country where my husband is currently cheating on me. I documented everything. Restaurants he claimed to be eating at during business trips, hotels he said he stayed in for conferences. I have photographs, receipts, and GPS data proving he was never on business in any of those cities. She's been stalking her husband's alibi in real time while he's creating it. The precision is beautiful. How much did that cost? I asked. $19,000, all charged to his corporate card. When HR reviews his expenses next month, they're going to find charges for a trip to Spain that happened while he was supposedly on a different trip to Spain, with a woman who isn't his wife, using company funds. That's, I started to reply, but she cut me off. Embezzlement, misuse of corporate resources, grounds for immediate termination and possible criminal charges. Tina's smile is sharp enough to cut glass. I learned a lot about corporate expense fraud during my weekend in Barcelona. I'm starting to understand why Madison chose the wrong enemy. Tina doesn't just want revenge, she wants to teach a master class in it. What else? I ask. I've hired a lawyer, not for me, for Brad. Emergency divorce proceedings based on financial infidelity and asset dissipation. The papers will be served when he lands at O'Hare on Sunday. You can do that? I asked. When one spouse is destroying marital assets to fund an affair, the other spouse can petition for emergency protection. It's designed to prevent situations exactly like this one. She pulls out another document. I'm also filing for temporary alimony based on his sudden unemployment. He's not unemployed yet, I replied. He will be by Monday morning. I sent his corporate expense reports and travel discrepancies to his HR department yesterday. Anonymous tip from a concerned employee. The woman is surgical. My turn, I say, pulling out my own stack of papers. Madison's credit cards are maxed out. How? She asked. European vacation packages, 5-star hotels in cities she'll never visit. A Mediterranean cruise for 2, different dates than the one she's currently on. Spa treatments in California, shopping sprees in New York. According to her credit history, Madison has been living a very expensive lifestyle while her husband has been working to pay for it. Tina flips through the statements. $23,000 in charges? In 3 days? Madison always wanted to travel more. I thought I'd help her explore all the places she dreamed of visiting. I take a sip of coffee. Virtually, of course. Of course, she replied. I also sold her jewelry, all of it. Wedding ring, anniversary necklace, the earrings she inherited from her grandmother. Posted everything on Facebook Marketplace and eBay. Told buyers I was liquidating an estate. How much? She asked. $14,000. Cash. It's sitting in a safety deposit box she doesn't know about. Tina nods approvingly. What about the house? 3 offers already, all above asking price. I accepted the highest one. Cash, 30-day close. Madison will come home to a sold sign in the yard and a storage unit with her belongings. Where will she live? She asked. Not my problem anymore, I replied. We sit in comfortable silence for a moment, reviewing our mutual destruction. 2 people who've never committed a crime in their lives, systematically dismantling the futures our spouses thought they were building. There's one more thing, Tina says. She slides a business card across the table. Private investigator. I hired him to follow Brad's travel patterns and document his meetings with Madison. He's been building a case file for 3 weeks. What kind of case file? I asked. Photos, videos, financial records, communication logs, everything needed to prove workplace harassment, misuse of company resources, and potentially criminal financial fraud. She pauses. Brad's been using company time and company money to pursue married women. Madison isn't his first. What? I asked, shockingly. Brad has a pattern. Targets married women in vulnerable positions, uses corporate resources to wine and dine them, then moves on when the thrill wears off. The PI found 3 other women in the past 2 years, all married, all affairs conducted using company funds. I stare at the business card. Madison thinks she's special. Madison is inventory, she replied. The words hit like a slap. Madison threw away our marriage for a man who collects wives like trophies and documents his conquests on corporate expense reports. She traded our life together for the privilege of being another entry in Brad's infidelity database. Does she know? I ask. About the others? Doubtful. Brad's good at making each woman feel unique. It's part of his process. What happens when she finds out? I asked. That depends on when and how she finds out. If it's next week when she's jobless and homeless, the impact will be very different than if it happened while she was still married to someone willing to support her. I understand. Madison is about to learn that the man she betrayed her marriage for is a serial philanderer who's been lying to her as much as she's been lying to me. And she'll learn it when she has no safety net to catch her fall. You're sure about this? I ask. The PI has photographs of Brad with all 4 women. Hotel receipts, restaurant bills, travel records. Brad's been running the same playbook for years. Madison just happened to be his type. What's his type? I asked. Married, bored, willing to mistake attention for love, she replied. I fold the PI's business card and put it in my wallet. Another piece of evidence for the file. Another nail in the coffin of the life Madison thought she was building. How long before they figure out what we've done? I ask. They're not due back until Sunday. By then, the house will be sold, the accounts will be frozen, and Brad will be unemployed. They'll figure it out when they try to get home and discover home doesn't exist anymore. And then? I asked. Then they get to start over. Together. With nothing. Tina closes her briefcase and stands up. Which is exactly what they deserve. I finish my coffee and gather my papers. Outside the window, I watch normal people living normal lives, unaware that 2 of their neighbors have spent the morning teaching masterclasses in methodical revenge. Thank you, I say. For what? She asked. For being better at this than I am. Tina adjusts her briefcase strap and looks at me with something that might be respect. I've been angry for 3 months. You've been angry for 3 days. Give yourself time to get creative. She's right. Madison and Brad think they're coming home to a life they left behind. Instead, they're coming home to consequences they never imagined, and consequences that two quiet, underestimated spouses have been building while they were taking selfies on Spanish beaches. They wanted to feel dangerous. Sunday, they're going to discover what dangerous actually looks like. I'm drinking coffee on the deck of a rental cabin in the mountains when my phone buzzes with the first message. It's 11:47 a.m. on Sunday, and their flight landed 23 minutes ago. First text from Madison. Why won't the garage door open? Did you change the code? I don't respond. I take a sip of coffee and wait. Second text. Evan, the key doesn't work either. What's going on? Third text. There's a for sale sign in our yard. A sold sign. Evan, what did you do? Fourth text. Answer your phone. The calls start at noon. I let them go to voicemail. Madison's voice gets progressively more panicked with each message. By the third call, she's crying. By the fifth, she's screaming. At 12:30, she sends a photo. She's standing in our driveway, former driveway, next to the sold sign, her luggage at her feet. She looks tan and confused and smaller than I remember. Brad's not in the picture. Text with photo. Where are my things? Where is everything? Evan, please, I don't understand what's happening. I forward the message to Tina with a note. Game time. Her response comes back immediately. Already started. Brad's been served with divorce papers. HR called him into a meeting an hour ago. It's beautiful. At 1 p.m., my phone rings. Unknown number. Evan, it's Madison. I'm calling from someone else's phone because my service was disconnected. What did you do? Why is our house sold? Where are my clothes? Her voice is different. Higher. Desperate. I've never heard Madison sound afraid before. Your belongings are in storage unit B47 on Maple Street, I say calmly. The unit fee is paid through the end of the month. Storage unit? Evan, what are you talking about? Why is my stuff in storage? Because the house sold faster than expected. Cash buyer. Closed Friday. You can't sell our house without me, she exploded. Emergency asset protection. When one spouse is using marital funds to finance an affair, the other spouse can take immediate action to prevent further financial damage. Silence. Then, how did you know about Brad? Madison, you filmed yourselves in our bedroom and saved it to our shared cloud storage. You texted him from our family phone plan. You charged the cruise to our joint credit card and listed him as your travel companion. Did you really think I wouldn't notice? It's not what you think, she started to reply, but I cut her off. It's exactly what I think. You've been cheating on me for 6 months, planning this escape for 2 months, and documenting it all like you wanted me to find out. I never wanted to hurt you, she replies weakly. Then you shouldn't have put him in our bed and posted pictures of it on Instagram. Madison starts crying. Real tears. Not the strategic ones she uses when she wants something. Evan, please, we can fix this. I made a mistake, but we can work through it. No, I replied. What do you mean, no? She asked. I mean, no, we can't fix this. No, you didn't make a mistake. You made dozens of deliberate choices over 6 months. And no, I'm not interested in working through anything with someone who thinks our marriage was a prison. I never said that, she replied. You said it to your sister. On February 15th, I have the recording. Another silence. Longer this time. Where are you? She asks finally. Somewhere you'll never find me, I replied. Evan? I hang up. At 3 p.m., Tina sends me a series of photos. Brad standing outside his apartment building with a security guard. Brad sitting on a bench with his head in his hands. Brad loading boxes into his Mercedes while neighbors watch from their windows. Tina's text. Evicted for lease violation. Corporate housing requires current employment. He's staying at a Holiday Inn on Route 9. How much money does he have left? I asked. $12.53 in checking. Everything else is frozen pending divorce proceedings. His corporate cards were canceled this morning. What about Madison? I asked. Check your email, she replied. I open my laptop and find a message with attachments. Screenshots of text conversations between Madison and her sister, Madison and her mother, Madison and her best friend. She's calling everyone she knows, looking for a place to stay, someone to loan her money, anyone willing to help her understand how her perfect escape plan became a disaster. Her sister's text response. You made your bed, Madison. Literally. Her mother's reply. I warned you about chasing excitement. Now you get to live with the consequences. Her best friend's message. I can't get involved in this. My husband likes Evan. Madison is learning what I learned 3 weeks ago, that the people you trust to support you aren't always the people who will. At 5 p.m., I send one email to Madison's personal account. Madison. By now you've discovered that actions have consequences and that underestimating quiet people is a strategic error. You wanted to feel dangerous, so I thought I'd show you what dangerous actually looks like. I know about the other women Brad has been targeting. I know about his pattern of using company resources to finance affairs with married women. I know about the expense fraud, the embezzlement, and the HR investigation that started this morning. Your exciting new boyfriend is a serial philanderer who's been lying to you as much as you've been lying to me. The life you thought you were escaping to never existed. The life you thought you could return to doesn't exist anymore. Congratulations on your freedom. I hope it's everything you dreamed it would be. The storage unit fee is paid through March 31st. After that, you're on your own. Don't contact me again. Evan P.S. I kept the ring. I close the laptop and finish my coffee. The mountains are quiet, and the air is clean, and I don't feel guilty about any of it. Madison wanted to trade our predictable life for something dangerous and exciting. I gave her exactly what she asked for. At sunset, my phone buzzes one last time. Madison's final text. I'm sorry. I know you won't believe me, but I'm sorry for everything. I thought I wanted something different, but I was wrong. I was so wrong about everything. I read the message twice, then delete it. Apologies are requests for forgiveness, and forgiveness requires trust. Madison burned that bridge when she filmed herself destroying our marriage and saved the evidence to our family cloud storage. She's sorry now because her escape plan failed, not because she hurt me. She's sorry because Brad turned out to be a fraud, not because she committed fraud herself. She's sorry because she's alone and broke and homeless, not because she chose to make me feel alone and worthless and invisible. Madison is sorry about the consequences, not the choices. That's not the same thing. I turn off my phone and watch the sun disappear behind the mountains. Tomorrow I'll drive to the airport and catch a flight to Portugal. Tina is already in Barcelona, starting the next chapter of her life with money Brad will never see again. We're not together. We're just two people who helped each other escape from marriages that had become prisons. The difference is, we escaped by freeing ourselves, not by destroying someone else. Madison and Brad are learning the difference now. It's a hard lesson, but they're excellent teachers. The harbor in Marseille is beautiful at sunrise. I sit at a cafe overlooking the old port, drinking coffee that tastes like freedom and writing in the notebook that started this whole journey. 3 months since I found Madison's letter. 3 months since my life ended and began at the same time. The notebook is almost full now. 47 pages of documentation became 112 pages of evidence, planning, and execution. Every choice recorded, every consequence cataloged, every small victory noted in careful handwriting. Tina is in Barcelona, working for an international law firm and living in an apartment overlooking the Mediterranean. We text occasionally, updates on new cities, recommendations for restaurants, warnings about men who remind us too much of our former spouses. We're not romantic. We're something better than that. We're partners in successful escapes. She sent me a photo yesterday. Brad, standing outside a courthouse in Chicago, looking 20 pounds thinner and 10 years older. The divorce was finalized last week. Criminal charges are pending for the corporate fraud. The other women he targeted are considering a class action lawsuit. Madison appears in my Google alerts sometimes. Local news stories about the cruise ship scandal that destroyed 2 families and ended several careers. She's living with her mother now, working part-time at a chain restaurant, driving a 15-year-old Honda Civic. The tabloids love the story. Successful woman throws away perfect life for serial cheater, loses everything. She's become a cautionary tale, a reminder that grass isn't always greener and that some mistakes can't be undone. I don't feel sorry for her. The barista brings me another coffee and asks if I'm writing a book. In broken French, I tell him it's more like a manual. He nods politely and leaves me alone. I flip to the last page of the notebook and write, March 15th, Marseille. 3 months ago, I thought my life was ending. Madison's letter felt like a death sentence. The end of everything I'd built, everything I'd believed in, everything I'd trusted. I was right about the ending, wrong about what it meant. The man who found that letter was weak, trusting, naive enough to believe that good intentions and consistent effort were enough to keep someone loyal. He thought love was a contract with guaranteed returns. That man is gone now. What remains is something harder, something that sees clearly, something that understands the difference between kindness and weakness, between forgiveness and stupidity, between love and transaction. Madison wanted excitement. Brad wanted conquest. They both got exactly what they deserved, each other, and nothing else. I wanted peace. I got it by burning down everything that was standing in the way. I close the notebook and finish my coffee. The harbor is getting busy now, fishing boats heading out, tourists arriving for day trips, locals starting their routines, normal people living normal lives, most of them blissfully unaware that their trust might be misplaced. I used to be one of them. My phone buzzes with a message from Tina. Lisbon looks beautiful. You should consider it for your next stop. I type back, maybe. How's the legal scene there? Her reply, competitive. But then again, we're competitive people. She's right. We learned something about ourselves during those 5 days of methodical destruction. We're good at this. Good at seeing through lies, good at strategic thinking, good at executing complex plans without losing our nerve. Most people discover their talents through hobbies or careers. We discovered ours through revenge. I leave money on the table and walk along the harbor, watching boats disappear into the horizon. Portugal sounds interesting. I've never been to Lisbon, never learned Portuguese, never started over in a country where no one knows my story. That's the thing about burning everything down. It clears space for whatever comes next. Back in Chicago, Madison is probably getting ready for her lunch shift at the restaurant, wondering how her life went so wrong so fast. Brad is probably meeting with lawyers, trying to minimize his prison sentence and calculating how much of his future belongs to his creditors. They're living in the wreckage of the life they thought they were building together. The exciting, dangerous, passionate future that was worth destroying 2 marriages to achieve. I'm living in France, drinking coffee that costs more than Madison makes in an hour, planning a move to Portugal just because I can. We all got what we wanted. The difference is, I knew what I was destroying when I destroyed it. Madison and Brad thought they were escaping consequences. I embraced them. I used them. I turned them into tools. That's the lesson in the notebook, the one that took 112 pages to learn. You can't control what people do to you, but you can control what you do with what they give you. Madison gave me betrayal. I turned it into freedom. Brad gave me evidence. I turned it into ammunition. Together they gave me motivation. I turned it into a new life. I pull out my phone and book a flight to Lisbon. One way. Open-ended. The kind of ticket Madison always said she wanted to buy but never had the courage to use. Turns out, courage isn't about running toward something exciting. It's about walking away from something broken and never looking back. I learned that from the best teachers I ever had. Two people who showed me exactly how not to live, exactly how not to love, and exactly how not to leave. The notebook goes into my backpack along with everything else I own now. It's not heavy. Amazing how light life becomes when you stop carrying other people's lies. Tomorrow I'll be in Portugal, writing the first page of whatever comes next. Today, I'm in Marseille, finishing the last page of what I left behind. Final entry. I sold the house she planned to run back to. I sold the life she mocked. And I kept the one thing she couldn't touch, my silence. Some people destroy their lives for love. Others destroy them for excitement. I destroyed mine for freedom. Best trade I ever made. I closed the notebook and walked toward the train station. Time to catch a flight to the rest of my life. Behind me, the Mediterranean stretches endlessly blue and clean, washing away whatever debris the tide brings in and carrying it somewhere else entirely. That's all the metaphor I need. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.